Good morning and welcome to Ensemble Conversations with me, Mark Kilmurry. Thank you for your contacts, your emails and your support. We will be opening very soon, so watch this space. We'll let you know a date, which is very exciting. This morning, I have a fabulous guest, the actor, writer, director, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, poet, William Zappa. William, good morning.
Hi there, Mark. I don't mind you saying that at all. Thank you.
Good, yes. Now, William, you've had an astonishingly good career since moving to Australia, but I didn't realise that you moved here in 1976 to take up a post as head of movement.
Yes, I did, and I never left.
Yes, but you had a career before in the UK.
Yes, and the last director I was working with, well, not quite the last, but a director I worked with for 4.5 years was an Australian, Peter Oyston, who was the director of the Duke's Playhouse in Lancaster. And when I was with the company, one of my jobs was movement coach. I was the choreographer. I was the fight arranger. I did become an associate director for a while as well. And Peter always talked about Australia and was very, very keen to get back here. And he got the job of Dean of Drama at the new drama school at the Victorian College of the Arts. And he asked myself and two other people that he worked with, Chris Crooks and John Beckett, if we'd like to apply for positions. Me as a movement teacher. We all applied, the three of us applied, and we got interviewed. John Sumner interviewed me the late John Sumner interviewed me in England. Ron Danielson also interviewed me. And I guess with Peter basically saying, I need people who I know how to work with, him pushing at this end, and our wonderful application forms and interviews, and got the job.
What was it like, though, that decision, just moving to a new country? Were you sort of very excited and this is great, or did you have reservations about leaving the UK? Because, as I say, you had an acting career before you did that.
I've reflected on this over the years a few times, and I realised when I came to Australia, I didn't come here with any sense of how long I was going to be here, or, I'll be here for a couple of years, then I'll go back to England. That wasn't the case at all. I just sort of came here because it seemed like a really exciting thing. And I have to say, one of the carrots that was dangled in front of us, the three of us coming from the UK, was that the College of the Arts at the time was all the staff were practicing professionals. So the idea was, so long as it didn't interfere with the teaching schedule, you could go and work. So I got my first job, it's about 6 months, my first acting job about 6 months after I came to Australia. And I got the part of Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet at the Alexander Theatre, Monash University.
So the job didn't entail you having to give up your career as an actor. It's actually part of it, which is fantastic, because that's very unusual.
Yeah, and I think what happened was I was enjoying the teaching a lot, but the idea of going and doing plays as well. Absolutely.
I first saw you, William, in The Gift of the Gordon when I was here on a visit, and like you, I was only here for a couple of months. And hello, see, I'm still here. And you've done lots of stage work since. I've seen lots of your work: Shakespeare, Stoppard, Elby. You tend to play very intense characters. Is that something that you're attracted to, or is that just the luck of the draw?
Well, it's the luck of the draw, and I'm very attracted to the roles, I have to say. I mean, they're fantastic. It's like Bell Shakespeare's Conversations. One of the questions that is asked, would you rather play the lover or the villain? And every actor that answers that question says the villain. So, I mean, they're not all villains. They're often incredibly intense, intense characters who have a lot of passion in them. And I think it's the passion aspect of it that really attracts me. Characters like Willie Loman, which I did in Adelaide, a few years ago. Just astounding characters to play, you know.
Yes, and absolutely. They're and to get behind the drive of those characters is the thing that's the challenge, and very enjoyable.
Yeah.
And now
absolutely.
also, William, you write, and Winter's Discontent you did here at the Ensemble Theatre, which I absolutely loved. Where did that come about, the idea of writing a play for yourself? Presumably you wrote it for yourself.
Yeah, well, I was doing, I was in here because it seemed like a really exciting thing. And I have to say, one of the carrots that was dangled in front of us, the three of us coming from the UK, was that the College of the Arts at the time was all the staff were practicing professionals. So the idea was, so long as it didn't interfere with the teaching schedule, you could go and work. So I got my first job, it's about 6 months, my first acting job about 6 months after I came to Australia. And I got the part of Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet at the Alexander Theatre, Monash University.
So the job didn't entail you having to give up your career as an actor. It's actually part of it, which is fantastic, because that's very unusual.
Yeah, and I think basically I think what happened was I was enjoying the teaching a lot, but the idea of going and doing plays as well. Absolutely.
I first saw you, William, in The Gift of the Gorgon when I was here on a visit, and like you, I was only here for a couple of months, and hello, see, I'm still here. And you've done lots of stage work since. I've seen lots of your work, Shakespeare, Stoppard, Elby. You tend to play very intense characters. Is that something that you're attracted to, or is that just the luck of the draw?
Well, it's the luck of the draw, and I'm very attracted to roles, I have to say. I mean, you know, they're fantastic. It's like Bell Shakespeare's Conversations. One of the questions that is asked, you know, would you rather play the lover or the villain? And every actor that answers that question says the villain. So, I mean, they're not all villains. They're often incredibly intense, you know, intense characters who have a lot of passion in them. And I think it's the passion aspect of it that really attracts me. You know, characters like Willie Loman, which I did in Adelaide a few years ago, just astounding characters to play, you know.
Yes, and absolutely. They're and to get behind the drive of those characters is the thing that's the challenge, and very enjoyable.
Yeah.
And now also, William, you write, and Winter's Discontent you did here at the Ensemble Theatre, which I absolutely loved. Where did that come about, the idea of writing a play for yourself? Presumably you wrote it for yourself.
Yeah, well, I was doing, I was in the musical Les Miserables. I did it actually a total of about 26 or 22 months, I think it was. And I remember when I was doing my second version of it, which was the 10th anniversary of the production in Australia. And I was just sitting in the dressing room with the show being played over the loudspeaker. And I was waiting to go on for my last entrance, basically. I was playing the role of Thénardier, and I was all made up and, you know, the wig and everything else. And I just started slowly changing the expression on my face, like really slowly. And I did it for about 3 minutes or so. And I literally went, wow, what an amazing theatrical thing. I'm going to write a play with this in it.
Yeah, right. So, and that was the hunch.
That's how the character Robert Winter was doing a one-man show inspired by the character Thénardier, and he was on tour by himself except for the stage manager. It's a one-man show, and he loathed it. He thought it was a load of theatrical crap. And
Yes.
fortunately, as the actor playing it, it was not a load of crap. It was a fantastic. Well, I mean, I say it myself. I was really, really proud of that character and of the theatricality of the piece, the climax of the piece.
Yes, it was. And Thenardier, every time I hear that name now, I only can hear you saying that word, Thenardier, and with that snarl, and it stuck in my head. It was a great piece. Do you ever feel like revisiting that sort of work for yourself, or do you think I did that then and now I'm doing this?
Mark, look, I have thought about it, but one of the interesting things, for example, is in the play, he talks about conversations on a mobile phone, and it's something like that sort of suddenly dates it.
Yes.
And I mean, I would love to do the piece. I'd love to do the piece again. But I don't know, whether I'd have to rewrite little bits like that. I mean, I'd think it might be quite easy to rewrite, but again, I'm sort of moving on. I've got other projects, and I would love to see somebody else doing it. I suppose that would be a good thing to do.
Yes, of course. Yes. Then you get the royalties, and you don't have to do anything. You can just.
I know.
Just enjoy
I earned more when I did it at the ensemble. I got more in royalties than I did in my weekly salary.
Of course. Yes, the royalties are nice. The William, also you say you're moving on. Yes, so your big project with the Iliad. Can you just talk briefly about that, where that came from? And that's done amazingly well. I know it was part of the Sydney Festival a couple of years ago. Where is that sitting now? Are you intending to do more?
Well, first of all, Mark, you asked me to talk briefly about it. That's almost impossible.
Sorry.
But I'll give it a go.
I'll
give it a go. So, well, look, I'm so proud of this piece, and yes, it was at the Sydney Festival in 2019. Its origin, though, was at the Street Theatre in Canberra, where Caroline Stacey, the director, had come to see me doing readings of the work in progress at ANU, where Elizabeth Minchin, my mentor on the project, had invited me to read. And anyway, Caroline said to me, I want you to do the Iliad. And I sort of panicked. Anyway, cut a long story short, I ended up doing a 9-hour version with 3 actors and 1 musician. And at the end of that, I thought to myself, I've got a show here. So we approached Wesley Enoch, and he deliberated for about 3 months, I think, and then said, yes, I want you to do it. So I'd rearranged it for 4 actors, and I got 2 musicians, a percussionist, and Michael Askell, and Hamed Sadeghi, the fantastic oud and tar player. And so we did it for the Sydney Festival. We then got invited to the Adelaide Festival, which we did last year, to 20. And then in March this year, we went to the Four Winds Festival down on the far south coast and did in open air theatre. The closest I may come to doing it in Greece. Wait and see. But the responses have been absolutely extraordinary. I'm thrilled with it. I'm very proud of it, I have to say.
And it's always that 9-hour version, William?
Yes, although after the Sydney Festival, I got invited, Lindy Hume invited me to take it to 10 days on the Island Festival in Tasmania. Unfortunately, she couldn't afford the whole show, but she said, would you come and do a one-man version? So I did a 6-hour version spread out over 3 nights. So it's 2 hours each night. With obviously a lot of stuff left out and me filling in a lot more of the story than is in the festival production. And that is, yes, it's 9 hours long, and we have done it for Sydney. We did over 3 nights, and then we did a whole day. And Adelaide Festival, they wanted it 2 whole days. So that was quite hard work, as you can imagine, especially vocally. It was really challenging. But we did it, and the reviews, the response was fantastic. The fact that people can sit there for, admittedly, there were intervals and, lunch break and dinner break, but they sit there for the whole thing, watch the whole thing, it's superb. I mean, to do the whole 24 books would take about 15 hours. So this is a very accessible piece, I have to say.
And a dream project that came to fruition, which is very lovely to hear, because that doesn't always happen, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was, yes, it was really interesting because it started life as it was going to be, well, I'll start again, sorry. I applied for funding to the Ian Reid Foundation at ABC Radio and to explore the possibility of doing it as a play. Well, no, they contracted me to do that, but no sooner had they done that than radio drama was cut from Radio National, from the ABC radio, and so I didn't go ahead with that. But I'd already started on what became, this love working on the Iliad. So I'm really glad it took off in the direction it's taken off in, but I'd still love to hear it done with a whole bunch of actors on radio. Maybe one day.
Yes. Yes, a play for voices, absolutely. It would work really well. Yeah. Now, William, too, you're just lastly, your involvement with the Actors Benevolent Fund, you are heavily involved with that. Can you just tell us, for those who don't know, what the Actors Benevolent Fund do?
Right. Essentially, what we do is we help actors. Initially, it was actors. Then it became anybody that was working in the theatre. So crew, even front of house and so on. People who were in need of assistance, financial usually. It may have been things like they needed a wheelchair or they needed, hospital fees. I mean, all sorts of things like that. It remained about people in need, but it became not quite a tsunami, but a huge wave of people needing financial assistance. So for the last 18, 19 months, that's very much what the Actors Benevolent Fund has been involved with. And, I'm happy to say the generosity of people has been, and organizations, has been fantastic. But this month, particularly October, is it's called Actober. And normally what would happen, of course, at a theatre, at the end of a show, one of the actors, and this is all the theatres, the musicals, as well as your theatre and the Sydney Theatre Company and Old Fitz and so on, an actor would step forward and say, "Thank you, I'd like to talk to you briefly about the Actors Benevolent Fund, and we would love you to give us some money." And actors stand out the front of in the foyer with buckets, and people generously throw money into the buckets. Now, of course, we haven't been able to do that. So it's all an online thing. And if anybody that's listening to this, watching this, would like to go to the Actors Benevolent Fund of New South Wales and click on donate, and it would be incredibly appreciated, because there are a lot of people who are still in desperate need of help.
Struggling.
And of course, every state has their own.
Yes.
Sorry, Mike.
We'll put those details. No, we'll put those details up on our website. We already have, but we will do that again after this interview. Yeah. Yes, it's a fantastic organisation, and it helps many, many people in desperate need. And as you say, it's become more so over the last 18 months because a lot of people are struggling and going through mental and physical health issues too. So it's a great organisation that's there.
Yeah, and we help people, across all manner of needs. I mean, everything from food vouchers to paying for car insurance, to paying the rent, to paying psychiatric bills. Yes, there's a huge need. because as you are perfectly well aware, this industry, the arts industry, has been hit devastatingly hard. And unfortunately has not been really fully acknowledged just how bad it is by the people that could help more, i.e. governments, That's the way it
yes,
is.
and I always think people think of art and they think of it being highbrow. Art includes adverts, it includes television, it includes all those things we talk about when we binge watch Netflix. That's all art, that's all acting, it's all part of our industry. And that's and without that, we're in a worse place. So yeah. What's now just briefly, what future projects have got coming up for you, William, that you can maybe talk about if you can?
Yes, I'm going to be doing a series of their little online videos for. Oh no! Look, actually, I won't talk about that at the moment.
Okay.
But sorry. I know I just dangled a carrot and I'm snatching it away.
Good. That's fine. That's enough.
No, the other thing that I'm very excited about, John Claudianos, who's a great supporter of the arts, music especially, asked me if I would write a sequence of poems that could be turned into songs. And basically we're calling it the Aphrodite Project, and they're all about Aphrodite. And he has commissioned myself to do the words, and the American composer Nico Muhly, who's a modern American composer, to do the music. My hope, my wish, and I think John's wish as well, is that come not this festival, Sydney Festival, but the following year in the festival, or if not the festival, then at the Opera House, or anyway.
Sounds fascinating.
I do love writing.
Yeah, me too. It's good for the soul.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark, I have to say, I can't wait to see your film.
The Actors Benevolent Fund, yes, being Gavin. Yes, we did that a couple of years ago, and of course, of lockdown, we've just been going around the festivals as much as we can. So, yes, no, I'm very thrilled that we can make that work.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy. If you don't tell me. But William, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I could talk to you for hours. We'll have to leave off now, but thank you so much for taking time this morning and telling us about what you've been doing and what you're doing. And also, as I say, we'll post those details for the Actors Benevolent Fund. But it'd be great to see you some point in a foyer somewhere nearby, seeing a show. So,
absolutely. Or on a stage. Put me on a stage.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to work with you again. Right. So for now, all the best, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you, William.
Really appreciate your interest. Thank you very much indeed. See ya.
So that was William Zappa. It's always lovely to talk to him. And sorry about the little glitches there. That's this technology that bounces around the world. But hopefully you enjoyed that interview. We'll be back with another guest soon. Thank you for all your emails, all your comments, and again, for all your support. This is Ensemble Conversations. I'm Mark Kilmurry, Artistic Director. Bye for now.